Hey guys, welcome back. I wanted to show you a couple variety of attacks. I was going to show you the last 4 attacks that I did before I get to my next one. So we'll start off with one against Miro here. So I usually don't attack these because they tend to be maxed out, but he had a space that was open in the bottom left here, so I used the giant to lure out the clan castle. We'll then use a poison spell to take out the wizards. The reason I like it is just because you can dump all your troops in without worrying about them kind of wandering off to different places because you have that spot to drop them right here. So I'll take out the walls in the center, and then we'll go ahead and drop our troops on each side, followed by a couple wizards. I'll use that last earthquake there again to damage some of the buildings to help take them out quicker. And then I'll drop a golem, a couple wizards, they'll work their way in and take out those defenses. And then we'll go ahead and do the same thing here. And then I'll go ahead and dump everything else into the middle because now I know they have to go towards the center. Also, I dumped my giants first here instead of the golem, just because it's a single target Inferno Tower first. So I want to try to get them in to take that out before using my free spell on the multi Inferno Tower. That's pretty much what I bring the giants for. So if you see a multi, or if you see a single Inferno Tower, try to drop your giants to get to it first, so that they can be taken out and leave your golems behind to tank afterwards. So that ends up working out pretty well. Rest of the troops will break through, they take out the clan castle, and then the king is working his way through the wall. We'll pop the queen's ability to take out that last elixir storage, and then she'll go down. And then we keep going here with the king working his way, trying to get through the wall. Eventually manages to break through and take out the last couple storages, and we've pretty much cleaned up the base here with the 70% once the golem dies and kills the mortar. So not bad, good amount of loot. A fairly tough base that makes it easier just because there's a spot open in the middle. So if you see that, it is useful to take advantage of it. Moving on to our next attack. This wasn't the greatest attack ever, but I do tend to attack these bases even if they're maxed out just because there's a ton of loot. So what I did here is again broken through that set of walls, used my last earthquake to weaken that other Inferno Tower. And then we'll go ahead and drop a golem on top, work our way in, take out those defenses. And then we'll do the same thing on the bottom. We'll dump the rest of our troops into the center there. And they're still making their way in towards the middle. Unfortunately, they didn't take out that wizard tower at the top, so he's wrecking havoc on some of my wizards there. But anyways, we'll rage on everybody, freeze the first Inferno Tower. They'll go ahead and take that out in a second. Nope, so I forgot I ended up using the second freeze on the first Inferno Tower because it didn't go down yet because all my troops ended up veering off to the top left. So again, that's something you want to try to avoid if at all possible. Just because you want those tanks in front, and otherwise your troops end up dying quickly like they did just here. So I had to pop the queen's ability fairly early, or earlier than I would have liked to. But the troops do come around and start tanking again. So the queen's able to take out the Dark Elixir Drill, which is nice. I don't care about it that much, but it's always nice to get. And then she'll go for the gold there and one more storage before she ends up getting taken out. And then I'll keep the golem alive just to see if he takes out any more percentage points, because again, we want to get to 70% for every raid possible just for the max bonus. So we got it close there, it's about 60% or so. But we still ended up getting more than half the loot, which is nice. Let's see, for this next attack, I ended up attacking a Town Hall 11 with an Eagle Artillery. I haven't attacked too many of these before, but the loot here was just so amazing, and the storages were all sitting on one side, the gold storages, so I decided to give it a shot, see how it would work. So I'll go ahead and drop the golems on each side to try to take out the archer towers and then have them work their way in. When I first dropped that golem, I heard the eagle artillery charging up, but I didn't know it wasn't going to fire yet, so then I panicked a little bit and started just dropping my troops a little bit faster than I would have normally liked to, and so that archer tower down at the bottom is going to kill more of my wizards than I would have liked. Either way, they'll eventually work their way in towards the middle. And there they finally go, getting in towards the middle. So I dropped the first freeze there just because I wanted to A, stop the Inferno and stop the Eagle artillery. One of the other reasons why I decided to attack the space was because they're sitting right next to each other, so the freeze will take out both at the same time. So it's a little bit less to worry about in terms of just getting DPS output through to take those out eventually. So they'll make their way up. The king stays alive long enough for the wizards to get that last shot and take down the town hall. And the queen will kind of wander out into the middle and just take a bunch of damage from everything without taking out any storages, but it's okay. So we ended up taking out the town hall and all of the gold storages, which is again more than I could ask for coming up against a town hall 11. So ended up working out decently well. Again, I don't like to attack these that often, but if they're available and they have a lot of loot and I can manage at 50% or so, it's usually worth trying to attack at the very least. This last one isn't my ordinary attack. Occasionally I'll run into these bases where there's a lot of collectors and whatnot. I usually don't see them that often, especially this high anymore. But I just wanted to show you what I do with my army to be able to take out the collectors. So we have a couple on top here. I dropped a couple more giants than I really needed to. But we'll drop a couple giants, a couple wizards just to take out some of the buildings and work their way in as much as possible to get as many percentage points as possible. And then on the bottom here, we'll drop a golem and a couple wizards. I didn't actually have that many wizards left at this point, so I had to be a little shy with them, I guess. And I dropped a couple giants just because I felt like that golem was going to go down quickly and I didn't want to lose my wizards too fast. Anyway, same thing on the other side. We'll drop the golem and the last couple of wizards. They'll work their way in. At this point I only had 26%, so I was thinking I probably wouldn't win this round, but the wizards actually ended up doing fairly decently well. The golem stayed up and allowed me to take out that archer tower as well. So we made it to 33%. Here I stood around for, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds or so thinking about where I should attack, either over here or on this side, but it looked like this side had a lot more buildings available to get to 50%. So I had a golem in my clan castle, thought I'd figure it could tank for my queen while she takes out everything else. And then there's two buildings on the side here that my king could attack, so we'll drop him and get them in and go ahead and get the 50% just for the bonus, because at this point it's definitely worth it, especially if you're going for just a 200k raid. You don't want to use your entire army camp for that. But the nice thing about it is that instead of waiting an hour and a half for your entire group, you'll only have to wait 45 minutes because you didn't use any spells. So anyways, that's been my rating for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.